Good morning. My name is Ann Wilkinson, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Saco in Biddeford. The service is being live streamed and recorded. For those joining us on YouTube, we encourage you to have a candle or chalice to light when we light ours here in a few moments. Whoever you are, wherever you came from, whoever you love, we are glad you are here with us today. The theme for the month is gratitude. We invite you to contemplate this theme with us today and carry it into your daily life when you leave here. Let us welcome the youngest members here today. May we recognize their noises and rustlings as our next generation participates in worship with us. We commit to be co-stewards of this land owned by the Wabanaki Confederation and to work toward a world that is just and thriving for the whole web of life. We invite you to take home the order of service for information and announcements, or you may leave it for recycling as you exit the sanctuary. Please silence your cell phone. There will be a social hour in the parish hall after the service, and please join us for conversation and refreshments. As you sit down to your dinner this Thanksgiving, remember to be thankful for the UUCSB. On November 27, 1827, the Second Parish Unitarian Meeting House, our sanctuary, was dedicated. I have chills right now. Happy anniversary to us. New Member Sunday is being postponed until spring. Coffee and conversations about our church will be offered throughout the winter. For more information, contact Edith. Are you here, Edith? But her contact information is right there, or our own Rev Lori. We need warm coats, warm hats, waterproof boots and gloves, snow pants, and warm socks for adults and kids. Gently used or new are welcome. A collection box is available, I think, in the hall. Soft snacks are being collected to distribute to the unhoused, the Hope Squad. There is a box in the hallway to replace them. They will be brought to Hope Squad on Wednesdays to go out with Matt Brown on our Thursday outreach. November, our SNAP response, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, provides financial assistance to the low-income individuals and families to help cover the cost of food. In the wake of the national government shutdown, SNAP benefits are being withheld for the month of November, so our donations are even more appreciated. And I'd like to ask Myra and Catherine to come forward for an announcement about our fair yesterday.
Hello, I'm Myra Robinson, and this is
Catherine Garrity.
We co-coordinated the Holiday Fair yesterday, which, yay, big success. Thank you. I'd like to ask everyone who had a part in that to stand up now and see everybody else if you did anything for the Holiday Fair. Yes, big round of applause, please, for everybody. It's the majority of people, yeah. Thank you so much. It's not official, but I believe we are just a few dollars off from a $3,000 goal. So after church today in the parish hall, we've left some things up, and you all can help us get that last $100 and buy some things. There's everything you can think of in there, from baked goods to jewelry to wreaths. I mean, definitely shop around and help us reach that $3,000 goal.
Hello again. I just wanted to remind people that this would be a great opportunity after everybody shops if there are some folks that could stay behind and help us put some things away, because this church is always about many hands, and we would appreciate yours. Thank you.
Please, thank you.
for the fair, a huge thank you. It was amazing. We're actually about 600 short. I just checked in. So really come and buy things back there. And I have a confession that I want to share, but an invitation. I decided yesterday that to be in community here, you had to come in and buy something from Grampy's attic. And if you didn't like it, that was okay, because next year you could return it. I have to confess, I made that up. I need y'all to know, but there's still time. There's still stuff at the back. Steward it for the year. If it doesn't find its way into your heart, return it next year. We love that idea. So anyways, that's that about that. I really wanted to just share with you guys that we made a call out for people to come make sandwiches last week. 24 people showed up. Only 6 of you. Alicia, thank you so much for putting it out on social media. We had Girl Scout troops. We had so many people come. We made all of our sandwiches in 15 minutes, and I also have to say we really annoyed the harbor singers, who I will be indebted to forever. But we're going to do that again. We made 150, and I want to share what I heard from the Hope Squad who received those. A couple of things. This week, because we're on a holiday week, the distribution centers are not distributing the food they do to the outreach people, because they're saving it for the families whose kids are out of school and not getting nutrition over the holidays. So the people going out on the street that distribute food to the unhoused don't have the resources they need. And so we want to really fill our box with soft snacks. We may not have sandwich making here, but if you can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and get them to us on Wednesday. Brian is in the office Monday and Wednesday morning between 8 and 11, and somebody will be here Wednesday at 4 with the door open for at least a half an hour. So we would appreciate those. Hope Squad told me yesterday they really need the food this week because it's not coming in from their normal channels. And Randa's not here, but so I don't need to beg her forgiveness, but they really asked that we put those in plastic sealable bags and not the paper ones that we tried to do for a dozen reasons that I'll share with you later. So those are the things. If you can help this week, it would be greatly appreciated. So thank you. Oh, and Alicia, I have a job for you, just so you know, about social media. We're going to talk. Okay, sorry.
Please join me as we light our chalice.
This is our sacred promise, to gather together in peace, to seek truth in love, to serve human need, so that all shall grow in harmony with the divine. It is a beautiful thing to see all the long-timers, all the newcomers, and people from the fair yesterday, so thank you for coming. Welcome all of you, seekers, singers, mourners, makers of hope. We gather today in the long tradition and the long-standing tradition since 1827 of people who have used their voices of instruments and their steady rhythms to say no to injustice and yes to a world that is made whole. For as long as human beings have struggled, we have also sung freedom songs from trains and fields and hymns whispered in the dark when only defiance could come through our voice. When other defiance was forbidden, drums calling people to courage, chants echoing down streets where thousands walk together. Music has always been a refuge and a rebellion, a way of telling the truth when truth was dangerous, a way of holding one another when the world would rather keep us apart. So let us begin this morning by opening our hearts to the great river of sound that has carried movements across ages. Let us remember that every voice matters, that harmony is something that we build together, and that every single note can change what is possible. May the music we share today remind us that resistance is not only a struggle, but a song and a joy in our hearts, and one that invites us again and again to join in ways that are not otherwise possible. Welcome to this day of music.
When I was in high school, I grew up outside of Detroit, and I was a young cello player, and I, in high school, participated in an orchestra called the International Youth Symphony, and we were told that it was the only such youth orchestra of its kind in the country, maybe the world, where at that time, students from 2 different countries participated. And we met in downtown Detroit, right, if any of you have been to go to the tunnel that goes underneath the Detroit River, there's an old church right there called the Mariners Church. And we met in the basement of this church right outside of where cars would go to line up to go through and back and forth through the tunnel. Anyway, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with Finlandia? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with Finlandia. Our conductor of the youth orchestra was from Finland. His name was Matti Holly. And he, every year or every couple of years, we played the entire tone poem called Finlandia. And so I grew up only hearing that music and that version of it, which did not include, when it was written, did not include words. And so then when I started coming to church here, we began to sing it. And I realized that we had a lot of trouble in some ways with that song for a couple of reasons I'll get into later. But Ryan, if you would like to play it. So what you're going to hear now, the whole tone poem, and I encourage you to look it up on YouTube and listen to it because it's gorgeous. But what you're going to hear was later became, words were put to it by many people all over the world. But excuse me. Anyway, let's listen to just the hymn part of Finlandia, the tone poem. then the timpani come back in, and the whole orchestra comes in, and it's glorious. So that melody, then, of course, let me back up a little bit. Sibelius he loved his country, and this was written as a deeply patriotic song. But is it any wonder that everybody else fell in love with that melody too, including us? That melody has been widely adapted for many secular and sacred purposes, primarily as a patriotic song with different lyrics in several countries, and as a standalone piece in our popular culture. Key secular uses include, and it's a long list, the Finnish national song, the former national anthem of Biafra, a Welsh patriotic song, school alma maters, particularly Ambrose University and Iolani School, and for film and television scores, which I had no idea about, Die Hard 2, Die Hard, and an episode of The Walking Dead. As well as concert performances and intros, live concerts by bands such as the Finnish symphonic power metal band Nightwish, and performed live by artists like Joan Baez. So, a couple months ago, I was awake. I don't know if any of you are awake, spinning about things, but I was spinning about how we have trouble singing this hymn in our church. And it's for good reason that we have trouble. If we're not looking at the music, it's really easy to miss the fact that there's this long note at the end of every phrase, followed by a rest at the beginning of the next phrase. And so what I wanted to do this morning was do a little tutorial and pretend that you know nothing, and just go along with me, okay? So what we're going to do, if, Brian, if you could put the words up for number 318, we would be one. You are also welcome to look in your hymnal if you prefer to read the music. And if you are looking at your hymnal at 318, you'll notice that the first thing is a rest in the melody. When you're reading the words up on the wall, it doesn't show a rest. And that is Paul's solo. He has to play on that first note. And he has to have a solo again at the first note of every phrase. But this is confusing for us looking at the music or at the words on the wall because it doesn't tell us that. We have instead what's called a tie. We have a 3-beat note from the end of the phrase that's tied to the downbeat of the next phrase. So that's what we have to sort of get in our soul, is how that rhythm works. So what we're going to do, and hopefully you won't be insulted by this, but I still find clapping and counting things out very helpful when rhythms are tricky. So this is what we're going to do. We're not going to use music yet. So this is how the rhythm would go for the first line of We Would Be One. And I'm going to do it a couple times, and then you're going to do it with me while we say the words. So here we go. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew, boom, to that high cause. You get it? Will you do it with me? Yeah. We can, yeah, you ready? Yeah. Here we go. We're starting with a clap. I'm going to give you 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We would be one as now we join in singing to our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew. 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, that we cause of greater understanding. 3, 4, 1. of who we are. And you got it? Got it? Okay. It's really confusing. When it's just us, we can do it. But now we're going to just sort of, Paul is going to play very quietly, and we're going to do it one more time where we clap, okay, while we do it along with Paul. You ready, Paul? Just do, I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, so no intro, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew. 2, 3, 4, 1. Got it? Okay, now we're going to start over. Everybody got it? Now Paul's going to give us the prelude, or not the prelude, a little intro, and then we're going to sing it. Excellent. 2, 3, 4. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew.
When we turn and greet our neighbors. That was
And now is the time in our service where we share what is deep in our heart. If you wish, you may come forward, light a candle, and share what's in your heart, or you can just light a candle.
Good morning, I'm Ellie. I lit a couple of candles, but I have several concerns. It seems to be I'm at that age where people in my life are getting sick and having problems. And on the good side, one of my sister-in-laws who was diagnosed with a tumor inside her heart, it was the size of a golf ball several months ago, is now the size of a pea. So it's really miraculous. But in the meantime, my other sister-in-law is currently awaiting some diagnoses unexpectedly. She was having symptoms of one thing, but a test showed that she has something else, so we're still trying to figure that one out. And my husband, Ben, is having more symptoms of his myasthenia gravis, so I lit a candle in hopes that the right combination of treatment will be good for him. And then yesterday I learned that somebody that I knew died suddenly at age 64, had pain in her head, went to the hospital, and was gone the next day. So reminds me that tomorrow isn't promised, and we never know what today will bring. Thank you.
I'm Jane Perkins, and I was here yesterday working the yard sale. One of the things that is missing today is a raffle item that when I left as one of the last people was by the front door. It's a wool blanket that was hand woven. It's blue and gray, 36 by 62. If anyone has seen it or knows who cleared things out of the front hall when they came in this morning, I would appreciate it because we have the person who won it looking for it. Thank you.
Hi, Myra again. I appreciate all your prayers for the situation with our grandson, Aiden, whose birthday was yesterday. He turned 16, and it appears he's living with us now, full-time. But we got him transferred down to schools down here so we don't have to drive him up to Brunswick and back twice a day. So that's a blessing, and he's such a great kid. Those of you who know him, and hopefully will get to know him as we corral him into singing in the choir with us.
Hello. Oops. Hello. Hi, my name is Melissa Caminiti, and it's so good to be here and seeing everyone. I just want to light a candle of gratitude for all of the love and prayers and support you guys have provided to me and my family. My grandbabies are born. They are 7 weeks old. They have had a very difficult transition to life. It's been a tough few weeks, but they're here and they're beautiful, and I'm so happy. And again, I just appreciate all the love and prayers. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and this turns out to be I think I'll even light a candle. This turns out to be a candle of joy. I realize that I have been irritated by all of the early Christmas decorating that's been going on. Everywhere you look. And my neighbors put a lighted wreath in their attic window. And yesterday, as I drove by, they were out there putting their lights up, and I was able to stop and thank them for that wreath because I love it. And then I came here yesterday, and played an hour's worth of Christmas carols, and about halfway through that hour, I thought, okay, I give up. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Good morning. My name is Birdie. I am an early Christmas decorator as well. But I am lighting a candle. My husband, Sam, was able to travel home to Kentucky for a wedding, and the joy is he's having a great time with his family, and safe travels back tonight.
Hello, I'm Alicia. I just wanted to share my joy from this past week. So last Sunday, I learned about this sandwich making opportunity here on Wednesday evening, and I don't like to do things by myself. So I invited not just my friends and family, but also the entire Saco and Biddeford community, and received a really great response. So not only were there 24 of us here, but I received so many messages saying, "I'm so sorry I can't make it. Can I bring donations to you? Can we do this again? Can we make this a regular thing?" So we're going to do it again, and it's going to be great. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. As you well know, this morning my official name is Grandpa Attic. So I'm very grateful that I was able to participate in that. I'm hoping I can do it again next year. And thank you, everyone who's helped us set this up. And so many people who have helped up. You know, there's a lot of work involved and a lot of planning. And without all of you participating in this, I would be in the mud. So thank you very much. I'm very grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Teague Cotton, and I have several joys to share this morning. Wednesday night, when those of you who were participating in the sandwich making, I was giving an introduction speech at Graham Plattner's rally and town hall, and Tess came up at the end and joined me, and that was really fun and exciting. And my mother has been in rehab for the last few weeks down in Maryland where she lives, and she is going home on Tuesday to her apartment in Bethesda. And goodness, I am really excited about the School Street Coffee House. The most recent one was so much fun last Sunday, and it was really wonderful to get to see 3 independent songwriters just going back and forth with each other and supporting each other and telling stories, and the music was gorgeous, and I'm really excited for the next one. That's going to be a holiday sing-along, and I hope to sing a few Christmas songs / lead a few Christmas songs. I am a huge Christmas carol person. I have memories of being a child and going to the Wolf Trap Outdoor Amphitheater in Northern Virginia, which is kind of like a smaller version of Red Rocks. And thousands of people would go to this event every year, and there would be a big symphony orchestra and musical guests and stuff, but really the whole point was that everyone was getting together and singing Christmas carols. So even though this will be much smaller, I'm really excited.
Hi, I'm Joanna Free, and I'm here to share a bit of information, kind of a tenderness and also a joy. The tenderness and information is that a dear friend of mine of more than 50 years, I think Laurie shared that he had passed away a few weeks ago, His memorial service is this evening at 6:30 at the Woodfords Club. His name is Pip Walter. He was a local musician. He was a friend. He was a father, a grandfather. He was a wonderful person. And for anyone who knows him, I just wanted you to be aware that the service in memory of him, the memorial celebration of his life, is tonight at Woodfords Club in Portland at 6:30. I also want to echo what so many others have said about how wonderful the fair was yesterday. There was so much care and presence that was evident in making that possible. And I know that we've had a lot of joys and concerns today, but I just had to share with you. This was from this side, from Grandpa's attic. This is an ornament with flying snowmen. That's really random. It comes to us from India. And then this was made by one of the members of our community who takes lobster claws and turns them into Santas. So it's a Santa Claus. The creativity, the care, the love, if you missed it, you missed a wonderful thing. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who made it possible.
Am I on? Yes. I'm lighting one candle of gratitude to Lori for running with me with this, and for Paul, who I also met with. And actually, to tell you the truth, he was pretty excited about getting to do the same hymn 3 times. And this last candle is for all of the joys and sorrows we carry in our hearts, but are not comfortable sharing today. Are we gonna light?
So for everybody who's visiting, church does not usually go this long. However, I just invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer and reflection right now, please. Source of all of creation. Oh, we give so much thanks right now. In this month that is themed gratitude for us Unitarian Universalist, we hold in our heart so much gratitude for this morning and for each other. And the paradox that both the joy and the sorrow and challenges are cradled in our sanctuary this morning. For strength and for joy, we have so much gratitude. Surround us in peace. May we feel your presence in the company of one another. And in so doing, lift our voices in joy that we can join together each Sunday and every day that we walk in this church, and know that companionship in right relationship can carry us through anything. And we offer that in gratitude. So be it.
So as I told you before, many people wrote words to go with that beautiful hymn that we've heard. And one of the first one was written in 1697. So she wrote, this woman, her name was Katharina von Schlegel. And she wrote this, we think, in 1752, and she was like a hymn writer. She was also a nun. And then the text was translated into English much later by a woman named Jane Borthwick, who was the daughter of a successful insurance broker in Scotland. And what she did was translate German hymns. Her translation of Be Still My Soul first appeared in Hymns from the Land of Luther in 1853 and was used with many different melodies in hundreds of religions around the world. And I have to find my second page. Okay. And then it was at one point used with the music for Finlandia that we know. Be still, my soul, the Lord is on thy side. Bear patiently the cross of grief or pain. Leave to thy God to order and provide. In every change he faithful will remain. Be still, my soul, thy best, thy heavenly friend, through thorny ways leads to a joyful end. Be still, my soul, thy God doth undertake to guide the future as he has the past. Thy hope, thy confidence, let nothing shake. All now mysterious shall be bright as at last. Be still, my soul, the waves and winds still know his voice who ruled them while he dwelt below. And now we are going to sing the original words. This is the English translation of the original words from Finnish, from a poem by V.A. Koskaniemi, and was written in 1937. And this describes Finland's struggle for freedom. So the symphonic poem that you heard the excerpt of in the original was originally conceived to protest Russian censorship in 1899. So if we have those words up, Finland behold, would you please rise and sing? And you know what to do on beat one, right? So...
a church kid. I grew up in churches, and I love hymnody. I loved all the sacred ones, the old-timey ones nobody gets anymore. But I love Finlandia. I love this one. And for me, I'd heard it as a United Church of Christ person, and when I heard it and I began to understand the UU identity that was clearly in my bones, it made even more sense. So preparing UUs for another moment in time, that's what I see Finlandia. It tells us history, but it prepares us for another moment in time. There are moments in human history when words become dangerous. Moments when oppressive powers try to control what can be spoken and printed or even imagined. Moments when truth has to find another way to travel, quietly, courageously, and often through unexpected pathways. And in 1899, Finland found itself in one of those moments. The Russian Empire, fearful of Finnish identity, issued harsh restrictions, limiting their autonomy, censoring their newspapers, threatening violent actions against those who would publicly speak out. They even tried to to suppress the Finnish language. The goal was clear: silence the people long enough from connecting to their own identity, and perhaps they would forget who they were. But they did not. Finlandia was composed in 1899 by a Finnish composer, Jean Sibelius. Did I say that? Jean Sibelius. At a moment when Finland was struggling under the tightening grip of Russian Empire. And for centuries, Finland had been passed between larger powers, but in the late 19th century, the late 1800s, a strong movement towards Finnish cultural identity was growing. They were reclaiming their identity through literature, language, and art. This blossoming was known as the National Awakening, and the Russians tried to suppress it. And into that moment stepped Jean Sibelius, a composer who understood that music has a way of saying things that censors cannot oppress. He contributed to a set of performances called the Press Celebrations, ostensibly a harmless pageant of Finnish history, but in truth it was an act of rebellion, a gathering where people came to sit together, listen together, be together, and recognize in one another the enduring spirit of their country. And from this moment came the music we now know as Finlandia. It didn't have words initially, but the underlying meaning of it was known amongst the people sitting there in that concert and going on forever until it was set to those musical words from a songwriter and a poet years ago. And in the playing of it, in that setting, and the listening to it collectively, the comfort and solidarity and strength of a nation was found. So let's linger on that for a moment, on what the Finnish people did. They gathered publicly to resist erasure, not through protests or signs or fiery speeches, but through music. They dared to let beauty speak for the truth of their identity when they couldn't use words, when the truth was forbidden. Jean Sibelius composed Finlandia as part of a public celebration that was outwardly harmless, but it was quietly defiant. Its final hymn-like section became a prayer for people who were longing for dignity, for peace, for freedom, to determine their own future. It soon grew into a cherished symbol of national courage, and religions adopted it because of what it said. And we have those anthems that mark all of our great moments in history. Think of civil rights, Wade in the Water, Ain't Gonna Let Anybody Turn Me Around, We Shall Overcome. Those were not just songs, they were spiritual armor. Think of the anti-war movements, labor movements, suffrage movements. Everywhere people have sought justice, they have sung. Why? Because music helps us say what is too large and too fragile or too dangerous to put into speech. Because music ties us to one another when fear would separate us. Because music turns individual longing into collective resolve. Because we remember music in ways that doesn't tie to reason or even language at times, and it sticks. So when I was a hospice chaplain, I would visit nursing homes and memory units. Some people, a lot of people, could no longer communicate or do any of their activities of daily living. They couldn't dress themselves, they couldn't feed themselves. And one day, I happened by chance to sing a Christmas song. And one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced as these people who could no longer even feed themselves lifted their voices to sing those songs. We connect to it through pathways no one understands. And it defies reason and it defies intellect, and why it is such an important part of church. It comes from spirit. It truly comes from spirit and calls each one of us into our own spirit. So when Anne asked me to consider a service about Finlandia, I jumped at the chance. And I have to tell you all that I always tear up when I sing this song, and I was worried I would bawl this whole service, but I promise I won't now. I'm making it. But when I sat and researched it, I realized how plainly that request was timely and poignant, and for this moment in time, how the Spirit moved through her, and how it moves through Paul's fingers and those pipes, and Ellie and the choir, and all of you when you sing this. The Spirit moves. This song has so much to say to us right now. And if we think about the history of it, and we take a breath together, we can hear that. So I invite you to take a breath together. Actually, take a breath. Through this song, can you imagine what it looked like to have regimes trying to silence alternative voices by threatening violence or hanging people for sedition, despite the very governing documents of a country protecting them, if not inviting them, if not begging them for alternative viewpoints to be expressed, so that all people of this country might be represented. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Could you even imagine and understand from this hymn what it might look like to take away people's identity by restricting organizations and institutions' ability to incorporate inclusive language for oppressed people, to limit organizations who now have a voice per our laws, to limit them from creating a kinder, gentler society, a juster society that reflects the very principles of this country, or a country, I should say. To change a country's identity and silence voices that don't fit or lift up the narrative. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine what the Finns went through while having their press censored, by imagining reporters being expelled from the halls of government for not touting the propaganda that's being said? Correspondents being sent out of the war rooms of a country for not communicating messages that are not true. Can you imagine that? Perhaps we can imagine what this looked like for them. I don't know. Sibelius made music to feed them, to remind them who they were and that they could join their voices safely and they could respond through art. And Sibelius feeds us still. This community and our tradition curated a way for us to remember and join our voices collectively to remember these things, that these things that are happening happen. And that felt a little more abstract a year and a half ago for me. And perhaps we were all prepared for this by our hymnal. And Sibelius doing that for us gave us something to feed us as a church, draw us together, remind us of who we are and what we are called to do. Ministers of music and church leaders have chosen music for our songbooks and collective singing that represents our core beliefs and principles. For the new folks today, look in our hymnal and see what we organize ourselves around. It's not creeds, it's not things that we say together. It's principles, the inherent right and dignity of all people. This music reinforces our welcome to all. It reinforces our belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all people and all sentient beings, and that the path towards inclusion is based around democratic principles. That's one of our principles. You have the right to free conscience here. That's a principle. And our anthems of resistance and the people who resisted before us cannot be erased when we lift our voices. Music, therefore, is a teacher of theology. It is for all traditions, but in our case, it's a teacher of our principles. We are Universalists. I always love to teach a little. We would be one reminds us and sets in our musical memories that cannot be erased our belief in universal salvation. We are Universalists, and that we are all worthy and sacred. Every one of us is worthy and sacred. And our music gives us the opportunity to support and advocate for everyone in the world and make sure people are safe and cared for and respected and loved just as they are, where every voice can be raised and heard. That's what's in our hymnal. And when that isn't happening, our principles and our polity, which is the way we organize ourselves, and our committees and our associations have put in place methods and systems for us to address it. It is in our preaching resources, for instance, that November 20th is Transgender Day of Remembrance. We are asked to celebrate that. And these songs help us lift our voices in joy to do just that. Our faith charges us to do this in whatever way we can. We have been given the tools to do it, individually and collectively, if by no other means, just to share a fact such as that what November 20th is, but by the means that Finlandia gives us. We remember it every time we sing that song. And we sing it for the transgendered, for the LGBTQ, for the immigrants right now. And especially if we won't be able to say it in words, we can sing it. Music and art is a strong and vibrant way that we join together to do that. And it is a reminder that beauty is not a luxury, it is a source of strength. It is a reminder that art is not decoration. It is one of the ways that we survive. It is a reminder that the human spirit, when pressed down, rises in harmony as well as in protest. In fact, that harmony is a protest itself. It is an absolutely beautiful thing, Melissa, the emergence of the School Street Coffee House. The School Street Coffee House began as a vision with the mission to support both artists and the LGBTQ community by creating safe space for chemical-free expression of art. Inclusivity, safe space, raising up voices. That's what UUs are all about. What a beautiful way to incarnate our principles in this modern day, to make our faith alive in this moment when it is so needed. Providing space to create new anthems, new words that not only capture our principles and values, especially in this time, but when it becomes necessary in even more profound ways. School Street Coffee House puts our beacon out. It lifts our chalice so others can be fed by it when they may not be fed by other means. It makes space for others to join in making an identity with us and for us. for the next generation to remember. Supporting School Street Coffee House is just one way of modernizing our message and continuing this resistance and inviting others into it. Whether they come here on Sunday and sing Finlandia with us, it is a way to bring them into that music. The absolutely beautiful music of Finlandia and the absolutely beautiful meaning of those words that reflect our principles is more than both of those things. It's about the human insistence on being fully alive and fully seen and fully heard. And that is the gift that this specific hymn gives us, as does music in general. An invitation to be fully alive and fully seen and fully heard. Without protest signs or letter writing campaigns, music insists on the right of people to define themselves, the right of individuals to hold their deepest truths without fear, the right to claim dignity even when it's denied. That is why making safe space for creation and production of music and art is such a powerful gift to the world. And I'm getting down to my list because for those who don't know me, I often have a list so you can take something away. I like to give you something tangible. The 4 particulars that stand out to me from Finlandia, 4 particulars. Finlandia calls us to listen to the stories behind the art, to hear it, to listen, to remember that our hymns and music comes from real people, history, and stories, real courage. And when we support and encourage art and we sing our hymns, we connect to those stories. We make those stories our own, and we continue those stories. So listen. Number 2, resist. And resisting not always means confrontation. Resisting also means creativity. In a world where people still face censorship, erasure, oppression, more so now than ever, we can be the ones who make space and amplify voices and protect dignity and see people and hear people. Resist, number 2. Number 3, hope. Not naive optimism, but the sturdy, persistent hope that has carried so many before us. The kind of hope that sings, even quietly, until the dawn comes again. Hope. And finally, Finlandia calls us to sing together in joy. Keep joy alive for ourselves and each other. That is indeed a sacred form of resistance. It is profound. You owe it to yourselves, but you owe it to all of us here. Keep that joy alive. Finlandia invites us to add our voices to the long human song of resistance and resilience and the invitation to joy. And when we sing this melody as a prayer, as a longing, or a promise, we are declaring that peace is possible. We are declaring that truth cannot be silenced forever. We are declaring that beauty and justice belong together. We enter this melody as participants in its legacy. We let its history become part of our own. We become, in our own way, another verse of this song. So may Finlandia strengthen our courage. May it open our hearts. May it remind us that the work of peace is both delicate and powerful. And that each of us, each one of us, despite how you sing, I don't sing well, but each one of us has a voice that needs to be added to this chorus. Even with tears rolling down your face, sing it loud, sing it proud, with joy in your hearts. And may that always be so. You know, now I have to transition to asking for money, and that always feels awkward to me. When we gather together as a community, we bring the gifts of ourselves, our hearts, our spirits, our time, our energy, our talents and skills to support the work of the church here within our walls, making peanut butter sandwiches for the larger community, having Christmas fairs, holiday fairs. We also bring the gift of our generosity, giving what we have so that the work of this church can continue. And always, half of our offering goes out into the community. This month, we're supporting the SNAP crisis, even though it's sort of abated. It really hasn't. If you're watching from home, donations may be made through the Give button at the top of our webpage, uuchurchsacobiddeford.org, or checks can be mailed to UUCSB 60 School Street, Saco, Maine. This morning's offering will now be received.
Release this flame from its faithful service today. We allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always.
And please join me in singing our last Finlandia rendition of the day. This is my song, hymn number 159. Still recovering from the tears here. As we prepare to leave this place, may the spirit of Finlandia go with us. May we remember that there are blue skies in Venezuela, in Gaza, in Jamaica. That quiet, steadfast courage woven into melody, that longing for peace rising through its harmonies, that hope for a world where all people can live in freedom is a part of our song. May we be lifted towards possibility, reminded that beauty can survive oppression, that resistance can take the form of a song, and that the human heart can insist on dignity by joining our voices together, even in the darkest of times. Go forward from this place with strength and with tenderness, grounded in the truth that our shared longing for peace is itself prayer enough. And may we live our lives and continue this song. Go in peace, my friends. Our service has now concluded. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're new here, it doesn't normally go this long, but do feel the love that we've all shared today, because that's really what our community is about. There is food and refreshments in the parish hall, and for $600, you can have everything in that room. Just saying. You can even take what's on the bulletin boards. We'll give it all to you.